Hello and welcome to the Backline Report. Fred Alvader and I every week try to find out something to talk about, and something happened this week we're going to be diving into a major development in the world of golf, the Saudi Arabia's investment fund. And Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, great. Ready to talk a little bit more about PIF, LIV, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Wentworth Club. The news that you mentioned is that there's word coming out that the Saudi Arabian PIF fund is trying to buy the Wentworth Club, one of the great old golf clubs in England, and the home of the DP World Tour. What do you think about that?
Well, that's reportedly, right? They want to buy Wentworth World Golf Club, which is the home of the BMW PGA Championship, one of the classic tournaments in the DP World Tour, the former European Tour, and also that's where the headquarters for the DP World Tour are. So this move could send some shockwaves through the sport. So we'll break down what's happening, why it matters, and how it could impact professional golf at large. So let's start breaking down the news a little bit. Let's talk about the Wentworth Golf Club background. One of the most prestigious venues in the European golf. It hosts the BMW PGA Championship, which is a flagship DP to World Tour event. It's owned by the Rainwood Group. I got it through. I got it through. I got last names tough, and this one, which should be so easy, I don't know what happened, but they deny any sale discussions. It also serves as the headquarters for the DP World Tour. For the PIF, the interest in Wentworth, first of all, the PIF is worth about $1 trillion. They have money. They're not lacking any of that. So they have been aggressively investing in golf through LIV Golf. Buying Wentworth would further solidify its influence on the sport. Eddie Pepperell, and this starts back in November and late 2024, that Eddie Pepperell, though Rankwood denied any negotiations, he sparked speculation that, hey, I think the PIF is going to buy it. So the current status, Fred, Rainwood has firmly stated, no, Wentworth is not for sale, and capital, all capitals. However, Fred, I know with enough financial incentive, could their stance change? I don't know. What you think?
Couple things in your comments there. Number one, you mentioned that the PIF has nearly $1 trillion in their war chest, and they're getting 160 billion more every year, just from Aramco, from their oil company, the Saudi Arabian-owned oil company, Aramco. So they got a lot of money. They've already socked over 4 billion into the LIV tour, and that number is still climbing because they keep paying these guys and trying to lure more guys over. You mentioned a little bit about Wentworth. It was designed by Harry Colt, a famous European golf course designer. It's located in London, in the southwest side of London, not too far from the palace. It opened for play in 1922 and is currently owned by the Rhinewood Group, who bought it in 2014. They paid about $135 million for it. And the numbers that are being tossed around now is that the PIF is looking at paying $275 million for it. So doubling your money in 10 or 11 years, that's not too bad of a deal, right? So as you mentioned, Wentworth is the home to the DP World Tour headquarters. And so this might, be a little bit of an issue. So my point is that, well, let them buy the course. If they don't want the DP World Tour there, they can always go rent someplace, an office building someplace else, because everybody's buying online now. So there's all kinds of cheap office space available everywhere. I imagine that's true in London, I'm guessing as well. So, Carlos, you also mentioned that, um, the PIF and the LIV are, still trying to negotiate with the PGA Tour. And we're going to get into that in more detail. So I'm not going to get into it real deep here, but the whole thing started 21 months ago. And even though we keep hearing more rhetoric, a deal does not seem to be imminent. And maybe this is a way to maybe stimulate some pressure to get that done. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, the current state of the PGA Tour PIF talks, I mean, they have been in negotiations for months, like I mentioned, to unify professional golf. The deal remains uncertain due to resistance from players, regulators, and some internal disagreements still. So, like you mentioned, could this be a negotiation tactic? Um, if the PIF successfully buys Wentworth, it would gain some leverage over the DP World Tour, given its headquarters are there, their flagship tournament is played there. So this could put some pressure on the PGA Tour to finalize the deal, knowing that the PIF's influence in golf keeps growing. It also signals that to the PGA Tour that the PIF really doesn't need your approval. I don't need your approval to expand. They can invest in courses, tours, and events worldwide whenever they want. Now, how would that affect the DP World Tour? Well, they have a dilemma. And Wentworth is symbolic and operational hub for the DP World Tour. If the PIF takes control, then how does that affect the DP World Tour's partnership, like you mentioned, with the PGA Tour? Could this push the DP World Tour closer to the PIF if they gain control over the venue? Could it be a possible power shift? Because now the DP World Tour has already allowed live golfers to participate in their events. So if the PIF takes control of Wentworth, could they use it to stage LIV events or even a new flagship tournament? You know, that those are the things that we have to see. Now, Fred, I think we have to see also what the PIF stands to gain with this. It could be some strategic wins for them. Acquiring a prestigious European course, for instance, their golf portfolio, it creates a foothold in the DP World Tour's operations, giving them some indirect influence over the European professional golf. They could use Wentworth for LIV golf events or new international series, but I see some potential roadblocks. Even if the PIF offers a massive sum, would Ringwood really sell? So far, they keep saying, no, no, it's not going to be. But there's also something that hasn't been said so far, and there could be some government or regulatory hurdles, given that the geopolitical sensitivity of Saudi investment in sports. They have done it in other sports, but so far in golf, there's still being some resistance, especially in England. So, Fred, would the DP World Tour fight back if their headquarters came under Saudi control? What do you think?
I think you just move. There's got to be other office space available. I don't know why you have to be at Wentworth. It's just been convenient for them, and that's been their world headquarters. So, but in America, there's all kinds of office space for rent. You can drive in any town in any downtown area and see empty storefronts and empty office buildings. With everybody buying stuff online, brick and mortar stores and offices, and people working from home and doing Zoom or working from home, office spaces aren't needed. So there's a lot of office space around for rent. So I'm sure it's that way in London as well, that you could just go rent someplace else. Now, Carlos, I see this more as the first step. Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit more. So the LIV still has a problem. Number one, they don't want to change their 54 hole format. Okay. And that will not get them OWGR, official world golf ranking points. That's what their players need. They need to be able to earn points to get back into the majors. Now, some of their top guys already have exemptions, but those are going to be running out. Okay. Also, they got to be looking at a guy like Brooks Koepka, who's coming to the end of his contract at the end of this year and has kind of been stating that he'd kind of like to go back to the PGA Tour. They've got a guy that just played in the Players that got kicked off the LIV because he didn't reach a high enough ranking, and so he paid a $758,000 fine to the DP World Tour. Came back, did well, actually moved up and got into is high enough ranking now to get into some PGA Tour events. So this is the world ranking points is a big deal for them, and it's a real stumbling block. And that is the ace that the PGA Tour has up their sleeve. Okay, if the LIV would simply change to 72 holes, and instead of a no cut, have a cut or have some kind of a qualifying process, they would get OWGR points. There'd be no reason that they wouldn't give them to them. That's all they have to do, but they don't want to go away from that. So, and maybe they can because it's written in these guys' contracts that they play 54 hole events and limited the fields to 54 players, no cut, all that kind of thing. So maybe they'd have to go back to players and get them to sign off and say, hey, we're going to change this now on you. And the players are going to, well, you can change it, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. Give me some more money. So I don't know how that'll all work out, but you know, the PGA Tour has even gone and Adam Scott and Jay Monahan and Tiger went for a second meeting, even and talked to Donald Trump to see if to get some help. And nothing seems to be coming of that just yet. We don't know, but I come back to the point, Carlos. I don't know why the PGA Tour is even talking to the PIF. What do they have? They've tossed around that they're going to put in 1.5 billion or $2 billion into the PGA Tour and all this kind of thing. But what does, other than money, which the PGA Tour says they have this billion and a half from all these other sports groups, the Wrigley Group and Arthur Blank and some of these other guys. Other than the money, what does the PIF or the LIV have to offer the PGA Tour? They're going along fine. These younger guys are becoming stars. They're filling in the gaps. The stars that they have, Rory and Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele and Scotty Scheffler and a couple other guys, they're doing pretty well. They're at the top of leaderboards. They're kind of carrying the sport right now. So what does the PIF have that the PGA Tour could possibly want?
I think this is the PIF's power play. This is what they're gonna try to do. And I believe that if you want to take somebody away from a negotiation, or just they want them to come back here, is just acquire or take over the competition. Or every, like right now, you take away the flagship club for the DP World Tour, it's going to affect them. That's where they were, that for years it has been their flagship tournament. Now it's going to be under control for them. So I see them trying to keep investing on this. This could be like playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. So even if Ryan Wood he refuses to sell, the PIF's willingness to buy Wentworth sends a message. They're committed to growing their influence in golf with or without the PGA Tour's blessing. So whether you join me or not, this could be the final push that forces the PGA Tour and PIF to come to an agreement. They can just start buying. They have infinite money, basically. They can start buying clubs left and right, and they're gonna just get the PGA Tour to a place that, okay, I'm losing influence, which is what really they need to keep. That's their power play. That's the PIF's power play, and that's why they haven't gotten away from it, because PIF is not going to go away. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing the envelope until they get to a resolution, which is they want to be with the PGA Tour.
There's about 20,000 golf clubs in the world. One golf club going to LIV or to PIF, it's inconsequential. The PGA Tour only needs about 50 courses a year. I mean, that's all they need, 45, something like that. The DP World Tour plays on about 40 golf courses around the world. So that's 100, less than 100 golf courses. So there's still 19,990 golf courses out there that are available, even if Wentworth falls away and to PIF and they say, well, you can't play events here. So I see this, like I said, it's more of this is the first step. It's kind of like a shot across the bow. And if, like you say, you're playing chess, this is maybe moving your pawn up a couple spaces just to get the game started. But I don't see this as a reason that the PGA Tour would sit up and take notice and say, hey, we've got to negotiate more with these guys. I just don't see how that would. Now, if this is the first step in taking over the DP World Tour, which I'm really kind of surprised that we haven't had more stuff where the Saudis are trying to buy the DP World Tour. They bought the Asian Tour, and so that gives their guys a place to play so they can earn ranking points if they want to play on some of these Asian events. They're minor points, but at least they're points. And so if the guys get a few points playing in the majors that they do qualify for, they can keep their exemptions into them. So again, maybe if this is the first step of a bigger play, like you say, playing chess, Yeah, okay, I get that. But for me, if I'm Jay Monahan looking at this, or if I'm the players on the PGA Tour, I say, okay, fine, they bought a golf course. And they're also, Carlos, we should mention, they're also looking at a second golf course, the Centurion Club, where they actually held their first event 2 years ago in 2022, or 3 years ago in 2022. And they're looking at buying that as well. So they maybe they're going to go, maybe they're going to go out and start buying golf courses around the world. Maybe they'll go into the management business, like a Troon or one of these other big management golf companies, except they're doing high end properties. And then maybe they'll do a thing like some of the people do, where you pay a fee. Well, then you can play all their courses around the world. So maybe this is the first step in something like that. But I don't see how this affects the PGA Tour, Carlos.
I do. I mean, you mentioned about the thousands of golf courses. Not all of them are championship golf courses. Not all of them they can just go there and play. Not all of them have the tradition. Not all of them have the fanfare. So you have the tradition, the classic thing that everybody likes to go for, and that is a limited source. That is not unlimited for them. So it's not like they can come here to where I live in Plano and play a tournament. They just can't do that. And it would be a lot of money for them to just change logistics from it can be from one year to another. It has to be with time for them to prepare the courses, to prepare the for the people that are going to come in, all the marketing, all the things that you're going to get. It's going to be difficult. Not everywhere is a good market for them to just go. So if the PIF wants to do this, they wants to actually buy Wentworth. The pursuit of the club is a clear sign of their ambitions in golf are far from over. And PGA Tour definitely knows that. Otherwise, like you're saying, why are they continuing to this? They know the influence of the PIF. They have virtually unlimited money. They can just go by and the DP. I truly believe this is a play to try to get the DP World Tour. And yes, the PGA Tour has a board vote, but it's just one. Money talks. And at the end of the day, the DP World Tour has been the small child to the PGA Tour's big boy. So, what other way to try to grow? They're just to invest money in it. So, at some point, the PGA Tour and the PIF are just going to have to talk and say, "Look, let's just come to an agreement and do it." But I think right now it's more the regulatory bodies that are really not making it happen. So, what you think about all this? Some final thoughts.
Well, as I've said, I really kind of feel like the PIF is kind of grasping at straws here. They're not winning in the negotiations, and just like the kid that's got all the money in the basketball, I'll take my ball and I'll go play someplace else. I'll just show you guys. And if you want to put it back in card playing terms, if you're having a run of bad luck and you're down, you keep upping the ante, keep upping the ante, and keep trying to bluff or do something to win a couple hands to get your money back, right? And they've got 4 billion invested in this golf deal, and they're not seeing any end in sight of getting a return for that. So they're kind of upping the ante here and saying, "Hey, we can do this. We've got a lot of money, and we can do this. We can still put pressure on you to try and make a deal. And if you don't like this, we'll do something else. We'll maybe try and take over the DP World Tour. Maybe that's it." They want to make an impact on the golf stage, on the world golf stage, but seem to be rebuked at every turn. Carlos, their first broadcast partner, the CW network, was a farce, and the new deal with Fox Sports doesn't seem to be much better. Here in America, golf fans do not seem to be too interested in the LIV format or its tournaments. With more money than they know what to do with, they just seem to be bullying their way into golf one way or another. For my opinion, let them spend nearly 300 a million for a golf club in London. Who cares? It doesn't affect the PGA Tour, and it just used up a lot of Saudi money. Good luck and God bless. Have at it.
Well, we'll see. This is a fascinating story to me with major implications for professional golf. I truly believe this is just the start of a power play, And we'll see. We'll keep you guys posted. Just let us know, what do you think? Is this a power move to pressure PGA Tour into making the deal, or is it just the PIF just looking to expand their golfing empire regardless of what the PGA Tour decide? Let us know in the comments, and remember to subscribe and give us a like. Okay, until next time, see you then.